Hey, welcome. For this video, I'm going to be giving my first and initial impressions on the new Fenty Beauty Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint, and I do have a number of thoughts that I kind of want to put out and share, but I also want to keep seeing how this product makes it into my daily routine, and I think I have another product that maybe I would compare this to / even recommend over. So I'll keep testing and round out my thoughts and report back. But for now, I want to share just some thoughts. And if you're new here, I really like sheer / light coverage base products like a lot. Full coverage is not really my thing, and I am always down to try products that will give me that skin-like finish and just kind of trick the eye into thinking that my skin is better than it is. I'll be honest, on camera, that's when I bust out my more like medium coverage, higher coverage foundations, but day to day, my go-to preference is very much on the sheer weightless skin-like side. I am quite oily in the summer, quite dry and combo mess in the winter. Despite being oily, am still really drawn to a lot of skin tints on the market that are mostly very dewy, and I find that this product fills kind of that void. So yeah, I'm someone who gets very oily but still is willing to sacrifice the feeling of oiliness for that really perfected skin-like finish. That's a bit about me. Despite being sometimes oily, also still have skin that is really easy for foundations to pick up texture on. Like, even sometimes I'll like wash my face, I'll touch it, I'll be like, wow, I feel really smooth, but I pop a foundation on, it's like, oh man, I'm so textured and flaky, what? So yeah, I really don't like the look of that sort of thing. So with all that in mind, here is my approach to the Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I guess a bit on this product first. It is 1.8 fluid ounces for like a few cents than less than $30. It is a very okay price. I guess, well, one of my like bullet points is that I feel like I'm not sure if this is really more worth it than like just shearing out like well-rounded medium coverage foundations. So in that regard, it seems kind of expensive because you have to use a lot of product. But in like the scheme of light coverage skin tint type products, like the freaking Ilia one is like $60. So this is kind of in a reasonable mid-range price. The shade I have is 3. This is actually my first Fenty base product, so I don't know my actual shade. I'm guessing it's around 140 based on what I've seen. I kind of think that this is pretty good for me, and I'm like kind of still on the paler side for my skin range right now. I kind of think that I could also use shade 4 if I wanted to. They have 25 shades, and the shade range is kind of weird considering it's Fenty, but a lot of sheerer skin lines will always say like, oh, because it's so lightweight and sheer, it can work on more ranges of skin, which is fair because like more of your skin will show through, so it's not like it has to be a dead-on match, otherwise it'll look really off. But I kind of won't harp on the shade range too much. I'm no expert in Fenty shade ranges. All I know is that when they came out with their huge range, everyone was wowed, and there was kind of this expectation for all of their following products to have a really broad and satisfying range, which maybe, not sure if this one hit the mark on that. That's all I'll say. So I wore this today, obviously, but I also have other products over it. For example, I put my Oma Beauty concealer over, and I think it sat pretty well on top of it. I really like that concealer, and it generally performs very well over other products. So yeah, I don't think that this skin tint did anything weird to make like layering other products odd. I put a cream blush on and I feel like it also worked just fine, so it's a decent base. In the demo I applied the right side of my face with my hands, and I kind of patted it in. I find that like spreading it can emphasize texture more, so I try to pat the product in as much as I can and kind of smear around the edges if I really need to. It had a pretty nice skin-like finish. The left side of my face, I went in with a beauty blender, and I think it gave like a tiny bit more coverage, but it also was not as seamless of a finish as I might have liked, which is interesting because that's not usually the case with the beauty blender for me. So overall, I think I would recommend putting this on with your fingers. The only like main difference I saw was around my nose area. The side that I applied with my fingers was a lot more cakey looking than the side that I used the beauty blender on. So I guess I would recommend kind of smearing most of the product on with your fingers and maybe going in with a beauty blender around like little crevices or little edges. I did try to build the product up on my acne scars or just where I have more redness, just to kind of see how it would perform. And it doesn't really build at all. I think if anything, the more you build, the more texture you have the potential to emphasize, and it kind of helped cover areas that were red a teeny bit more. But I think with this product there is just a very narrow range of coverage that you can achieve, where like from the get-go you can't really sheer it past this like low level coverage point, and you can't build it up past like the amount that you put on. So I would recommend just putting on one layer of this and calling it a day. And I think that the amount of coverage it gives and the effort that you have to spend to get that is pretty low, and the results are pretty nice. A big thing that this product does is I think it fills a hole that is kind of still open in the light/sheer skin coverage market. A lot of these products are very much on the dewy side. They kind of cater towards people with drier skin types because of how dewy they are. And I also do think that like the amount of moisture that these products have makes it easier to achieve that really skin-like finish where you can't really see your flaky patches or textures. It really just looks like skin, but plumper and juicier and healthier and smoother, which is what I love. But obviously not everyone wants that dewy life. So with their like blurring skin tint advertising, it was pretty obvious to me that this was going to be different from those products, and I definitely will say that it is. When you apply it, there's not really like a glow or moisture situation happening at all. I think now that my oils are kind of peeking through, I put some Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for a youth glow, something like that, on, so I look pretty I think my skin looks nice. So it does mix in like with the moisture of my face well, and like other products well. But when I first apply it, it definitely doesn't give you any glow at all. It doesn't blur, kind of, but I'm not sure that I really need my base products to blur. Like, it doesn't blur nearly as well as just putting a setting powder or powder foundation on. So I don't really like that like slight silicone-y feeling that it has, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. One thing I will say though is that a lot of their Instagram posts and ads I've seen will kind of show and recommend this being used alongside their essence. I think it's their fat water as a hydrating first step before putting this on, and I just don't like that kind of marketing. I mean, obviously having like good skincare down before you put on your base product, and just like the better your skin is, the better any base product will work. But I just don't like the idea of a foundation or skin product being pushed to use like, you have to use this one first, because then it's just like kind of pushing someone to buy more of their products, which obviously they want, but I'm just not a fan of that. I did make sure to hydrate my face. I like even exfoliated before applying it today just to give it the best fighting chance that it could. I feel kind of iffy on this product. So here's my main takeaway. I kind of feel like it looks a little bit more like foundation than a skin tint. And this is a very subtle line that not even all skin tints really fall into. But when I apply and reach for skin tints or sheer products, it's not strictly because I want light coverage. It's because I want something that really melts and just looks seamless on my skin. And so far, I've really only been able to find that in sheer coverage foundations slash tints. I'd say my holy grail is the MAC Face and Body. That has a lot of moisture. It is a very slippery formula, but it is buildable. It starts out sheer, you can build it up, and it'll still look really skin-like. It never really tugs or pulls on my skin, and so for that, it is so versatile. The only thing is that it is a bit shiny, but honestly, I get so oily in the summer and haven't been able to find a product that keeps me not oily, that it doesn't really make a difference for me because that product fades so nicely. Anyways, the gist of this all is that it's so skin-like and it just makes my skin look great. Whereas this product kind of makes my skin look good in the same way that most foundations make my skin look good, in that it doesn't necessarily melt in, it just kind of sits on top and hides my redness and whatnot better. But it doesn't make me look necessarily like I just have better skin naturally. And this is so like nitpicky, so maybe I'm pushing it too much, but the thing is, I feel like this product, I could get this look by just using a medium coverage foundation that I like and shearing that out, if that makes sense. However, I do think that this is really easy to slap on. However, its use case is much more narrow than just like having a versatile medium coverage foundation that you can either build up to medium or shear out to a light coverage. This, you're never gonna be able to build up much without it looking kind of cakey. It is really nice in that you can kind of just slap it on. It'll look pretty decent. It'll like tone down redness. It won't be too shiny. You don't necessarily have to set it, but if you're an oily person, it is going to transfer and slip off by the end of the day if you don't. So like, that's just the reality. It's not claiming to be long lasting in any sense. It just doesn't give like a dewy finish. So I feel like you would still have to kind of set it if you're someone who's oily. But yeah, just like the fact that it's something that you can quickly slap on and it's no fuss necessarily, I think that for filling that purpose, it's worth it. But it's not necessarily like the best skin tint. I kind of feel like they just kind of want to hop on this skin tint sheer coverage trend, which is fair because they have a pretty good foundation line and they seem to try to cater for everyone, and this stuff definitely fill a hole. But I guess I just don't think I would repurchase this because it's not really doing anything extra for me. I think this will be pleasant to use up, and who knows, maybe I'll reach for this and I'll just really love the ease of this product. But right now, I think it looks nice. It was not too emphasizing my like patches to put on, but like I would have to be having a pretty decent skin day already. In general, I feel like the better product for me to have in my collection would just be like a solid medium coverage foundation that I can sheer out or build up when I need more coverage. But most of the time I'm not wanting that coverage. I just want something super skin-like, in which case I will go for like the most skin-like thing that'll give me that, and this isn't quite it. That's all. That's all. It's not a bad product by any means. I think that there are a lot of people out there for whom this product will fit nicely into their collection and their routine and lifestyle, and it's like a not bad light coverage product, but it's just like, because it's light coverage, it's not versatile. You can't build it up, but with any other kind of coverage, you can shear it down and to get like a lighter coverage if you want, right? So there's that. And it's just not the most skin-like. I think I said this, like these 2 points, in a lot of different ways, so I'm sorry if I rambled too much. But I definitely need to try this more and see if like it's something that really sticks for me. But right now I feel like very solidly that it's not a bad product. I'm just not blown away by it, and I really want to like it. You know, I really want to like a Fenty based product. I feel like this had a lot of hype, and I love skin tints, so I was excited to try it, and I'm not disappointed. I think that it will get used up pretty easily, but I am not wowed. I don't find that I need this in my collection. I doubt I'll repurchase. We'll see. I hope this helps. I would love to hear other people's thoughts on this product. I hope that this wasn't like too negative, because I don't think this is a bad product. I really don't. It's just kind of like in between two better products for me, that like this kind of fills a purpose in terms of convenience for me, but like in terms of like finish and function, I don't need it that much. So in the future, I wouldn't find myself wanting to invest my money into this just to fill this very small niche in my collection personally. Okay, I'll stop here for now. We'll be back with more. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know any questions and I'll try to cover them if as I keep testing this and in my future comparison video. All right, take care and thank you for watching.